Pantry preparedness is kind of like an octopus. You know, you have that main head, which is the food, okay? Your pantry, that's your main head. But then there's all these tentacles coming off in every direction. And one of them is safety. And so today we're going to chat about that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. Thank you for coming along today. I received an email from one of our viewers, and I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to chat about some things to do, okay? And it's not safety as in food safety, well, but, you know, not like safe canning, that kind of thing. This is, honest to goodness, personal safety. And it's something that we all need to take into consideration because we all can become rather lax in our surroundings. And I want to share this with you. She says, "Hey, Lisa, I'm a little concerned. Actually, I'm a lot concerned because anxiety is high right now, and that always makes my mind go to worst case scenarios. I go to food banks once, sometimes twice a month. The food that I get and can't or know I won't eat, I pack up and see if either of the two elderly neighbors I try to help out are interested in it, put what fits in the giving box near me, or the rest I take to a small nearby church that hands out food. I don't live in the best of neighborhoods, and this past week, as I was putting the stuff I had for the food bank in the car and saw a guy that just recently moved into one of the rental houses behind me walking up to my back gate. As soon as he stepped off the road to approach my gate, both of my dogs were at the gate. He stopped about a foot away from my gate and said, 'Hey, I want that.'" Okay, that would have sent like the hairs on the back of my neck going straight up, right? "I called both dogs back to me and asked him what he wanted. He said he saw me put the boxes in the car and he wanted them. I told him that was food from a food bank that I was taking to another food bank, and if he needed some food, he was welcome to see if it was anything he wanted. I took the box down to the gate, unlocked it, sat the box outside of the gate, and relocked the gate. He picked up the box and walked off. A little later, my dogs were going off at the door, and when I opened it to let them out, I saw the box and the food had been thrown back into my yard." Oh, goodness. Okay, Lisa, my head is always on a swivel, and I have never noticed this guy anywhere around when I take stuff out to my car or put stuff in my car, and the way my fence and the houses around me are, he would have to be straight out in the open behind my house. He can't see into my backyard from his house. So now I'm rethinking everything I do and trying to figure out how to do things differently. He obviously didn't want food. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but I have had several sleepless nights now. I'm not sure what I can do differently, but I have to be able to bring food into my house without being scared. I really didn't think anyone was paying attention to what I was doing, but obviously I was wrong. I need ideas on how to handle this if you have any. So again, Terry, thank you very much for reaching out to me, okay? And while I am not an authority on security by any stretch of the imagination, I do have some ideas that I put together. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this kind of distressing situation. It can be terrifying. It can become terrifying, especially as an older woman, right? And I'm saying that about myself because I have no idea how old you are, Terry, okay? It's understandable to feel anxious when things seem to undermine your sense of security. I get that. I really do. That's honestly a large reason why when we did make some changes, we took our sliding glass doors out of the house because I don't trust them for security, you know? I'm hopeful that the suggestions that I offer you and the safety measures that many people have found useful in certain circumstances can be of some help to you. Let's take a look at this. Now, for anybody that's watching this, after you hear what I'm tossing out there, definitely feel free to suggest anything that I may have missed because as a community, I think that we can help make Terry safer and a whole bunch of us at the same time. So as a community, let's do this. Let's make ourselves safer, okay? Number one, you want to enhance your home security. And I've just mapped out 3 different things that you can do for this. Number 1 is to review the access points, which it kind of sounds like you've already done, okay? Check your gate, your fence, your entry points, such as side doors or windows for any vulnerabilities, okay? You want to see what is easy to get to, what is easy to get through, that kind of thing. Make sure locks are robust and that they're functioning well. A minor upgrade like new locks or a better gate latch may reinforce your control over who can get close to your property. Now, the one thing that I do have to commend you on is the dogs, because dogs make a lot of noise and you don't ever want to yell at them for making that noise, right? Because that is something that you and your neighbors and anybody else around will pay attention to. Number 2 is to consider surveillance. Even a modest outdoor security camera, like a doorbell camera, like a Ring camera, that kind of thing, can help deter unwanted attention and provide you with documentation if incidents reoccur. And I found that to be very helpful. Here, my internet doesn't reach to where our Ring camera is set up. And so I ended up going out and getting trail cameras. It works. It does. Visible cameras may encourage better behavior also. Yeah. If they know they're being watched, they tend to behave a little bit better by potential intruders. And it also gives you a little bit of a peace of mind, but it should never have you completely let your guard down. Okay. Number 3, with regard to, enhancing your home security, is lighting. Lighting can mean a lot. Installing motion activated or dusk to dawn lighting around your property, especially near your gates or near entryways. And you can get those solar powered, so you don't have to run electricity. And it can help by reducing hiding spots, okay? Making it clear when someone is approaching, or making it clear if somebody is there when you're approaching and it's dark out. So those would be my top 3 regarding enhancing your home security. Definitely something to take into consideration. Number 2, which is something I don't think we often think about, because I think that we get into our routines. These are our habits. This is what we do. If you were to hang outside of my house, you would know that I leave the house at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym. You would know that between 4 and 6, my dogs are outside barking their fool heads off, okay? And you know that, we have routines. It's just the way that we work. That's just the way people work. And so adjusting your routine and your storage practices can make a big, big difference. So number 1, when it comes to transporting the items, right? Consider modifying how you move your food items from the car, to the house, from the house to the car, so on and so forth. Or, even if you're dropping it off at donation spots, you want to take a really good look around. For instance, if possible, load your items into your home or a secured area before transporting them outside. So if you load your items into boxes or bags or whatever that's manageable to carry out, do that before moving them here, there, and everywhere, Number 2 is discreet storage. That's not always easy. Okay? Instead of leaving boxes visible, you might store them in your car until you're ready to drop them off. If you must leave them outside temporarily, try keeping them in a secure, less visible location, and perhaps inside of a locked shed or a garage if it's available. Those are just options. I don't know you didn't mention where you store the boxes in the interim. And so it might be an option, or leave the box in the car and take out the items every time you go out to the car. Different ways. I'm not saying that that's more secure, but if they break into anything, it'd be your car, People. Anyway, next is the buddy system. I find this one to be remarkably helpful. When I bartended, we had a standing rule at any bar that I worked at that you did not, after the bar closed, you did not walk out of the building alone, ever. You always had a buddy, okay? I disregarded this advice one time, and it was the one time somebody was waiting for me outside the door. So after that, never again. After that, nobody that worked with me ever went out that door by themselves. I didn't care what was going on. always a buddy system is probably one of the best defenses that you've got, okay? So if you feel uneasy, definitely, if those neighbors are super close, see if a trusted friend or a neighbor can accompany you during these trips, especially when you're handling donations. If you know that you're going to be loading up your car, see if they'll come over and have a cup of coffee, or see if they'll hang out on their front porch if the weather's nice, that kind of thing. Even just having somebody nearby can help ease that anxiety. And it's a second set of eyes paying attention to what's going on. Not always doable, but if you've got friends that you can just say, hey, can you come stand on the front porch for a minute while I load my car? It'll make you feel better. It definitely makes your neighbors, if you're friends, it'll make them realize that, hey, I might need to do this too. And then you can do it reciprocally. It's just a good thing to have a buddy system. And I know it's difficult, especially as a single woman. It's difficult sometimes to always have somebody to be that second set of eyes, but it's just another one of those steps for precarious times. Oh, managing encounters. Okay, I fully believe that I would have maybe handled this a little differently, but I'm a little more confrontational sometimes. Who am I kidding? I'm a little more confrontational pretty much anymore. But there are ways to handle these weird things when they happen, right? Number one is to keep calm. Keep calm. If someone unexpected approaches you, okay, like a man who appeared, right? Try to calmly determine their intent. As you did before, communicate clearly, explain that the food is designated for donation, and invite them to wait if they're interested without compromising your control over the process. You want to make sure that you are presenting yourself as an assured, dominant person, okay? Even if you are 4'3" and they are 6'7", you still got to bring that tude with you, okay? Avoid direct confrontation if uncertain. I know, okay, we're always uncertain. You just never know anymore. It's not back like 40 years ago when people were slightly saner, Now everybody is in for a fight. And I get it, but at the same time, you have to be safe. So it's wise to avoid engaging in confrontations if you feel threatened. Instead, secure the area, and if necessary, call someone you trust or an emergency police line to ask for guidance. Documenting what occurs, time description, actions taken can also help if the pattern continues. So if that person comes back, we've already established that that person's not interested in food, something else is going on there, okay? There is no reason for that person to ever walk up to your gate again, ever. And if they do, you just have to say no and shut everything down and go in the house. And you have to write it down. And you have to have your phone ready. Call your neighbor preemptively, okay? Call your non-emergency number for the police and say, what do I do about this? Because they may have somebody in the area, Make those phone calls. But for that person, just very nicely say, no, thank you, and then get inside. So number 3 is trust your instincts. I cannot implore this enough, okay? Your awareness is an asset. It's there for a reason. If something doesn't feel right, it's okay to change your methods, okay? Or to call for help. It's better to pause and reassess the situation, reassess your steps, rather than face potential danger. Trust your intuition. Trust your instincts. Mine have never failed me. You have to trust your instincts because I would rather be wrong about my instincts than to be right about them and ignore them. That could be catastrophic, okay? Number 4, community involvement. Because, yes, in order to find your people, you have to people, right? So inform your neighbors and your local community groups. Definitely call those neighbors, okay? And definitely post something online saying, hey, this is what happened to me. Just be aware. That's all you have to do. And most of the time, like on the Book of Face, you can do it anonymously now, right? So sometimes sharing your concerns with trustworthy neighbors or community watch groups, if they're there, right, can provide you with support. It really can. If you are aware that this person is out there and that weird encounter happened, the first thing that I would do, well, within the first 5 that I would do, is to call the people on either side of me and say, this is what happened. I just wanted to give you a heads up, you know? So definitely let them know. They might have observed similar behaviors or had similar interactions, and they would be willing to keep an eye on the area with you. You definitely want to make sure, if it's a repeatable kind of thing, that you all are talking to each other and you're aware of it. No, another one is with local food banks and churches, if they have policies or suggestions for secure food handling, I can't say that any I've ever come in to contact with would have that, but maybe in your area they do. If they can share any best practices, these organizations often have experience dealing with similar situations and may provide additional practical support or advice, because the ones that are in your area are going to be more aware of the issues that you may run across. Okay, so just because I don't think the one in my area has that thing, has that kind of information or support, doesn't mean the one in your area doesn't. So talk to the people at that food bank too. Let them know your concerns. They might be able to help or offer suggestions. Next, we're going to go to addressing your anxiety and emotional well-being, because if you're anxious, it's going to be more difficult, okay? Like you said, sleepless nights, it's going to be more difficult. So you need to rein it in, trust your instincts, okay? And believe in yourself. Check your house, make sure everything is locked up the way that it should. Watch the perimeter, pay attention when you put the dogs in or out. Let the neighbors know that, this or that has happened. Those will all be your additional buffer in these kind of situations, and they will help reduce your anxiety. They really will. That's talking with somebody, okay? So definitely, if you're talking with them, that's very helpful in a situational awareness kind of aspect. But if the anxiety is not going away, reach out to somebody who is a professional and talk to them, because they might be able to help you too. Next is some self-care, I know, but implement some routines that help manage the anxiety, such as mindfulness, deep breathing, that kind of thing, and document your thoughts. Back when we were kids, ooh, let's start a diary, like we'd have anything really amazing to record. But as somebody who has reached a fine age, I do kind of keep notes about the day's activities, anything odd that occurred, anything strange that occurred, fun, new. It's all good, just kind of not a sit down and journal for hour kind of thing. It's just, hi, it's Monday, and today this person ticked me off, and today some guy was at my back gate, and today I got something great in the mail, whatever. I mean, seriously. Whatever. So I keep track of, when I got the chicks. I keep track of when the septic was pumped, It's a great way to have that documentation if you need it in the future. Documenting your thoughts, how it made you feel, can definitely help you process what you're going through. But it's also good for checking back on if you need it. Now, when to contact authorities, because not every single thing requires a 911. You know what I mean? Non-emergency contacts. There is a non-emergency phone number. Instead of calling 911, you want to try to find the number for your local dispatch, your local police department, so that you can call them directly as opposed to 911. If you notice repeated incidents, especially, or escalated behaviors, consider reaching out to the law enforcement, reach out to their non-emergency line. Make them aware. They have to document your phone call. It's documented. I can't tell you how important this is to make sure it's documented above and beyond yourself. If this is a repeated behavior, somebody else needs to know about it. Somebody who has more power behind them than you and your neighbors, theoretically. And next is to make sure to keep that log, document it yourself. You not only have to document it yourself, you have to rely on somebody else of a higher power to document it too, and that's where the phone call comes in. That's what you want to do as far as when to contact the authorities, okay? Now, you are on a tight budget, and you know the life world is what it is right now, and so I just came up with 10 different things that hopefully can help make you a little bit more secure with where you're at. Okay? 1, lock your doors and windows consistently. I mean, make a habitual routine. You go to bed at night, you brush your teeth before you go to bed at night. After you brush your teeth, go through, check your windows, check your doors. Okay? That's simple. Do you put your dogs out without making sure the gate is locked? No. So you want to make sure that everything in your house is locked and it's secure. The next one is to establish a routine check. Create a habit of walking around your property to inspect potential vulnerabilities. Unlock doors, windows, etc. Regularly verifying your surroundings strengthens awareness and security. You got your head on a swivel, you already mentioned it, right? But making that point to regularly walk around it and take a look and see what's going on with that. It's a good thing. Number 3, trim or have somebody help you trim overgrown shrubs and bushes, because those are great hiding places for nefarious people. I love that word, nefarious. I don't like those people, but I love that word, okay? So clear out thick vegetation near windows and doors. Overgrown landscaping can provide hiding spots for intruders. Now, I do like having prickly bushes in front of my windows, okay? Because if there's something and I have to get out, I will survive the scratches. They are most likely not going to go through the extra effort of trying to get past those scratches to get in those areas. But you want to make sure that they are trimmed to a point where somebody cannot hide behind them. You know, I hate surprises. I hate surprises, like a lot. Number 4, improve your visibility. Remove or adjust any obstructions that block your view from key vantage points, like windows facing the street or driveway. A clear line of sight discourages potential intruders by increasing their chance of being seen. So that's when you're doing stuff, you want to see what the visibility is. You want to see if you can improve your visibility, okay, along with maybe your neighbor's visibility, so that you can get what you need done without fear of anybody coming up on you. Number 5 is to use timers for your lights. We love these. While you might not be buying new lights, adjust your daily routine to switch lights off and on at consistent times and create the impression that somebody is home. Routines such as turning on interior lights or radios at set hours can add to the illusion of occupancy. And if you want to get super creative, then have different timers in different spots, turning on at different times. Ooh, yeah, it'll take you a while to get used to it though. Number 6, leverage your neighbors, okay? I have said for a long time that hay bales make the best neighbors. However, if you have to have people as neighbors, leverage them and make sure they leverage you, okay? Cultivate relationships with your nearby neighbors and consider setting up an informal watch group. And that's where you can help watch each other when you're going in or out and doing that kind of stuff, where you can keep an eye on the neighborhood together, you know. Neighbors who look out for each other can quickly report suspicious activity, effectively increasing security without any extra expense. It costs nothing to be nice to your neighbors. Well, sometimes it might cost some sanity, but for the most part, it costs nothing to be nice to your neighbors, okay? Number 7 is to strategically place your outdoor items. We all have stuff that we keep outside, right? I don't bring my barbecue in the house every single day, so we have stuff that we keep outside. Store valuable or distracting items out of sight, okay? Bikes, tools, to reduce visual temptations for thieves, and keeping your property neat and unobtrusive lowers the likelihood of becoming a target. If they don't know you got it, then they're not going to try to steal it, you know? Number 8 is to make use of visible signs of occupancy. Make it look like somebody's home as much as you can, okay? Simple actions like leaving a car in your driveway, arranging furniture near entry points can make your home appear active. Perpetrators, thank you, are less likely to approach when they suspect someone might be watching. There was a point where I considered a mannequin. I'm not kidding, okay? But she'd have to move every now and then because otherwise it would become very obvious. Or people would think I died in the window. Number 9, reinforce community relationships. Not just your neighbors, the community as much as you can. Engage in local neighborhood apps. What have they got? They've got that one next door, something like that. It's somewhat helpful without the drama of Facebook. Or social media groups that share security tips and notify each other of suspicious activity. Let me tell you a real quick story here because, this video is already going on long. We live in a very rural area. However, there was literally, the sheriff's department called them a gang, going around trying to break into people's cars. They were caught on Ring cameras and other things, never did figure out who they were, but they were successful in some attempts. They were not successful in others. They startled residents, but they were hitting different neighborhoods all around. And I'm like, dude, if they keep coming the way they're coming, they're going to be coming to our area next. And so I want to make sure everything is on lockdown, Now, if you blink wrong, my dogs bark. So half the time I get a video out, I call it a huge success, right? But you go around at nighttime, people don't have their lights on. You are yourself and multiple other people going to see if people have left valuables in their unlocked cars. You're stealing cars. You're stealing the stuff out of cars. This happens everywhere, okay? So we became super hyper aware of it because online it was being discussed so much. It was discussed for a couple of months before the local sheriff's department put something out about it. People were sharing their Ring camera footage. They were sharing the still pictures that their trail cams got. They were sharing what happened, okay, and what they ran into. So getting on there and making noise makes a difference. It really does. Number 10, develop and practice security habits. Just like having your head on a swivel, you have to be aware of what's going on around you at all times. And it's really exhausting sometimes, but practice simple routines, okay, that maintain situational awareness, such as checking the back doors upon entering or leaving, considering planning an escape route. I cannot recommend this enough. Or having a safety plan in mind for moments when you feel vulnerable. Now, as a young adult who slept with a metal baseball bat next to her bed for a few years, okay, I always had a mental plan of attack. I always had a mental plan of escape. As an adult, some 30 plus, almost 40 years later, okay, I still always have a mental plan of attack and a mental plan of escape. I am not going to stutter during something like this. I am either going to go down kicking and screaming or I'm going to take somebody out because that's the only way that I am going to get through and get some sleep. I have multiple doors that I can go in or out. I have multiple windows that I can go in or out. I have 2 dogs that I know will kill for me because they try to do it to the vacuum every single time. I know that we have what we need here to defend ourselves, okay? Wherever you are, whatever you do, being a victim is inexcusable. We have to own it. Don't let them make you a victim. Don't let the nefarious people, okay? Don't let those crappy people make you a victim. We're going to start putting it back on them. They are the ones that need to be held accountable. Most of those 10 things don't cost you a dime, except for talking to people, okay, and being involved and being aware. It is something that you're going to have to practice every single day until it becomes a habit. Every single day. Specifically to Terry, okay? Your instinct to secure your environment and help others is admirable. I admire you. I admire you for not only helping people, but for being aware enough to know that this is something that you need to be concerned about. Sharing it with me, who hopefully can get it across to other people that this is something we all need to be aware of. We all need to stay on top of this. The world isn't getting to be a better place. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. So we need to do what we can to make sure that we and ours and our neighbors and together as a community, we can do that. Please remember, these are just general suggestions, okay? If the situation escalates or you feel your safety is in imminent danger, it's best to reach out directly to law enforcement or a trusted professional. Seriously. Your safety and well-being are paramount. Number one. Always remember that. So thank you, Terry. If anybody watching this has any suggestions on other things that Terry and anyone else watching can implement, preferably no low cost because, you know, nobody's got money right now, that would be hugely beneficial. And because I know that a lot of my Canadian brothers and sisters watch this also, and they're not allowed to have handguns, you know. So we need other instruments in order to make sure that we can keep ourselves safe. We need to develop our skills to make sure that we can keep ourselves safe. Until next time, everybody, be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends.